What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the OddsShopper Golf Channel, coming to you with a major edition of Lindy's Best 9 Bets. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. It's the PGA Championship up in Rochester, New York. Just exactly where you expect major championship golf. Oak Hill looks like it's going to be a difficult little venue here. We're going to have an emphasis on driving distance, on long iron play, on getting the ball in the damn hole. That's generally what we try to do here on this program. Last week, I failed you. I couldn't do it. Jason Day ends up winning an outright, one of the shorter numbers on the board. I went to the other guy. He did not win in the shorter odds department. Well, not Scotty Scheffler. But either way, we've been running really well in this program. After the Masters performance, though, I doubled down my efforts. I really want to have a great week here at the PGA Championship. Sometimes these major odds, sometimes you kind of want to stay away from the board a little bit more than normal. You get some of those normie money, the public money coming in, an influx of people who don't always bet PGA, and the boards can be tougher, but there's really good numbers. If we can just, John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, take a week off. No, go ahead, just take a nap. That'd be great. Except for now, one of them is going to win, and that is what it is. But you know what? It'll be okay if you live in one of these four states: Colorado, Ohio, New Jersey, and Virginia. And why is that? Well, Virginia, Ohio, New Jersey, Colorado, see different order. You guys have an opportunity to sign up at Bet365 in the video description box below. You simply click on that link. You sign up depositing $10 or more. You bet $1 on anything, and you have an opportunity to get $200 in bonus bets. No questions asked. Yes, that dollar can lose. It doesn't matter what happens to it. You're going to get yourself $200 in bonus bets. That's an unbelievable deal. Check out these sports books. And hey, if you're in the MLB streets, they have some of the best home run odds on the board day in, day out. Wish I had access to it. So get access to it if you're in one of those four states. It's only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all. A lot of golf to talk about. 9 best bets per usual. Check out this beautiful scorecard put together by producer Alicia. Thank you to producer Alicia, per usual. She's always happy, always cheery, getting ready to rock here for me. Yeah, I'm done talking. Well, not done talking. I'm done talking in the intro. We got a lot of talking to get to. Let's get to the best 9 bets I have for the PGA Championship. Hole number 1, that's the shtick that we do here on this lovely program, and we're going to matchups. That's where I like to start. Now, if you're newer to the betting streets, these are the kind of things where you can kind of take the profile of one golfer, put it next to the profile of another one, see how it kind of grades out for you, and put in your magic little elixir. But you try to find one person once in a while that you can pick on. You know, when you're playing pickup basketball at recess back in the day, you find the person you think is not very good. Well, unfortunately, this guy's actually very good at golf, but we're going to attack him with 2 different plays. We're going to start, though, with Keith Mitchell, plus 125, going up against Russ Henley. He's the guy. Red Rover, send not Russell Henley over. I think he's a really good iron player overall. I think he's had spurts where he could have the putter figured out, but overall, I'm not all that enthusiastic with Russell Henley on this golf course, currently sitting around plus 9,000 to win this event. Now, he had an unbelievable Masters, smashed. Goes to the RBC Heritage, gains across the board. But we haven't seen him play golf in a month. It's been a hot second, my friends, and I don't know what to make of that. It's kind of a long time off, and he had a missed cut at the Genesis, at the Waste Management. Now, he had a 19th at the Players. He definitely found some form, and I'm not going to deny that going into that little section, but going down south and playing on Bermuda at the Players, Masters, RBC Heritage, going to be a little bit different than these fast bent greens that we're going to be getting up in Rochester, New York at Oak Hill. So I don't know what to make of some of the putting struggles he's had from time to time, but over the course of his last 5 tournaments, he's still been below average in that department. And also, even in the midst of this improved form, his last 5 tournaments, we don't have strokes gained data at the Masters. He's lost strokes with the approach, and that's generally what I'm hanging my hat on. Over the course of his career on the PGA Tour, where we have strokes gain data, he generally gains about a stroke with the approach. So for that to be downward, strange to me that he's still finding ways to be successful. So I'm going to be picking on him with a pure ball striker in my dude, Keith Mitchell. Now, off the tee, strokes gained 7th amongst this entire field. You only have 2 par 5s, and they're both over 600 yards on this golf course. But I really like Keith Mitchell when we're talking about a spot where you have to drive it straight. You have to simply make some pars and get along your merry way. And I think a projected target score around 10, 12, 13 under that we're looking at, lower than your average PGA Tour event. because this is a major and it's supposed to be difficult. That's how it's supposed to work out. I really like the profile of Keith Mitchell, just heads up against him. I'm not going to be adding him to the board anywhere else. And I get that he's lost a ton with the approach recently, but I just think it's a closer to a pick'em type situation. And I'm getting plus 125 on the Keith Mitchell side. So we get our card opened up. Hole number 1, Keith Mitchell to beat Russell Henley. I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. That's generally how I do things. Hole number 2, we're going to go to Mito Pereira, plus 106 over on FanDuel. By the way, hole number 1, Keith Mitchell. That was on DraftKings.com, but we're going to go to the blue site. We're heading to FanDuel, and this begins our live conversation. How do we evaluate what we have from some of these players that we don't see on a week-to-week basis on the PGA Tour? Well, it's very difficult, but the quality of player amongst some of the top end has been very, very solid, and I don't think there's any denying that from the live side. It's just difficult when it comes to golf stuff. And it's also funny to me when you look on a site like DraftKings where they have it 11 out of 11 cuts made. Well, I hope so. There are cuts on the live tour. So once again, you're guaranteed to have your play there. We saw him get a 5th in Singapore, put together 3 solid rounds there, 67, 66, 66. Relative to the rest of the field, looked pretty darn good there. Again, it's so hard to know. And coming off of Tulsa, which is ironically a spot where he participated in the PGA Championship last year, lost in devastating fashion by making double on 18, missing a stroke out of the playoff. He makes par. He's a PGA champion, and we're talking about him in a completely different light coming into this week. But T30th there at the Golf Invitational in Tulsa, maybe sparked him a little bit, got him ready to go here for this week. He's an interesting play that I've thought about adding to my outright plays as well. I know my dude, Jesse, you might be one of the guys watching this program. As always, absolutely obsessed with Mito Pereira in a lot of ways, but he's a pure ball striker as well. That's kind of what I'm hanging my hat on, is finding some of these guys who might be poorer putters, and Keith Mitchell definitely falls into that vein, even though he's been better in that department over the course of the last couple months. But Mito Pereira, I'm just going to take what we saw last year over the entire body of work and seeing that PGA Championship, and I think there's probably something good that we can mine out of there coming into this week. He hasn't lit the live tour on fire by any means, but still some quality players there at the top. So I'm not going to be going out of my way to say Mito Pereira isn't live this week as a long shot to add to your betting card, but I haven't done it as of yet. That's why I'm going to identify him in the matchup market against somebody in Russell Henley, who's been playing awesome, but I don't think it continues here. We continue on our live way here in the make miss cut section. And this is going to spark a little bit of controversy, I think, because, well, we have been terrible here for the last couple live events. But we're starting to see better form from Bryson DeChambeau. Part of that was, well, we don't ever get to really see him. Plays the Masters, didn't really play that well, ends up dipping out there, 74, 74, 71. Dipped after the 3rd round there. Kind of strange to withdraw, +3 is what it is. But looking at some of these live events, he had by far his best showing there with a T5 at the Tulsa event last week. Much easier scoring conditions. But again, seeing Bryson DeChambeau have a pulse is worth it to me to be getting him at this kind of a number. And it's more of a number play. And that's the thing. You could know nothing about sports, but you saw Bryson DeChambeau being a dog to make a cut in a major event where distance is of a premium, where ball striking is of a premium. And he's always been an underrated putter when it comes to when he's had good form. It's generally because he just gets it rolling in addition to his ever-present overall driving distance. Now, that had faded away. That's why you saw him play like absolute garbage at the beginning of this live session. But seeing that Tulsa event, I think makes it worth it for me to just have a little nibble there on Bryson DeChambeau. That was a weird way of saying that. Phrasing, Eric. Always phrasing with me. Bryson DeChambeau, though, -104 at FanDuel Sportsbook to make the cut, -122 to miss it. Give me the dog side of that equation. I think Bryson sneaks on through to the weekend. That's all we need. Go ahead. Put up a 70th. I don't give a shit. Well, 65 people. Whatever. Put up a T60. Enjoy that. Cash that ticket for us. -104. Bryson DeChambeau. And this is the spot where I have been looking to short the insanely good play of Talor Gooch. Now, some people sitting there at home watching the CW, I don't know why you're doing that. You're one of 4 people watching that on the CW. Yes, Producer Alicia did not know until this second that is where the live golf coverage, and I got completely cut off because of reruns of Vampire Diaries, I believe it was. It's a good show. Shout out my buddy Brett, great writer. I'm standing up for the union there too. Writer strike, let's go. Big heart emoji. But Talor Gooch, we're talking about 2 W's in his last 3 live golf events. He won at Adelaide. Oh, put another shrimp on the barbie. Live golf Singapore. I'm not going to do anything there. But Live Golf Tulsa, yeah. Well, he went down there. He didn't know play so good. That's for sure. T36. What are we doing here? Talor Gooch? I'm getting plus 200 for him to miss a cut? And I get it. He was somebody that it was strange to Phil Mickelson. He should automatically be in every major. He should get the world golf ranking points. It's absurd. He's had the best form of anybody. He won 2 events on a spot with no cuts. He shot 73 in the final round of that Adelaide tournament after 62-62 was up by $1 million. He had 2 good days of golf there. Goes to Singapore, plays a pretty easy track. I don't know how to evaluate this is the difficult part, but embrace the variance, my friends. And that is where, if you had told me coming into this event that Talor Gooch was going to be minus 295 on DraftKings to make the cut 2 months ago before those 2 results, I would have said you were out of your damn mind. Did he have an incredible college career? Absolutely. Was he really hitting the ground running his rookie year on his footing? Looked really, really good. Looked like he could be one of the best young players. But he defects to live. He ends up in a spot where he wins 2 events. Do you know his results sandwiched between it? I know he had a T34 at the Masters. It's the only time that we saw him there, so congratulations, did make the cut there. But he has 1 off week on a far more difficult golf course with very little major tournament experience, and I'm getting 2-1 to find out if this is true. Automatic bet. In fact, this is my favorite bet of the entire week, and it's not that I want to just short a live guy. I want to short a live guy that I think just has an irresponsible number at books. Again, he has 2 wins on the live tour. There are some seriously good players there, but I don't think the motivation's there week in, week out for all of those guys. You can't tell me Cam Young isn't fishing every single weekend. Cam Young is absolutely fishing every single weekend. So there you go. There's my rant for the day. Talor Gooch. Too good of a number to pass up. Plus 200 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Fire it up. My favorite bet of the week. Him to miss the cut. Bet 365. I tell you again, only 4 states. Sad emoji, crying, winky face, all the things. But it's going to be okay. It's coming to other states shortly. I hear Iowa's in the mix. Pennsylvania's in the mix. Lots of other great places where you will be able to have opportunities to sign up at Bet 365. But if you are in one of these 4 states right now, Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, or Virginia, congratulations, you won the lottery. You're going to get $200 in bonus bets when you go to the link below. Sign up by clicking on that link. Takes you about 2 minutes. Deposit $10 or more. Put $1 on anything on the book, and as soon as you do, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. And hey, if you're in the MLB streets, lots of great numbers in the total bases market. They've had some of the best numbers in the totals department and definitely in the home run department. So if you're playing MLB, no reason you wouldn't want Bet 365 in your portfolio of sports books. Get as much exposure to these books as you can. Lots of other offers in that video description box below, so sign up for it. Check it out. Great stuff at Bet 365 in Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, and Virginia. Only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all, back to the picks. Before we get to the outrights, I have one play in the top 5 market, and I have also bet him at 250-1 for 0.1 units. So again, it didn't glorify putting it down there with the other half unit plays that I have here, but I wanted a little bit of a nibble here on a big long shot that I kind of believe coming into this week if the overall game speaks for itself here, and that is my dude, KH Lee. I think he is very undervalued when it comes to the betting odds. Well, the 250-1 makes a lot of sense, but I think he is very live on a golf course like this to go out and surprise some people because the ball striking, near 50th in terms of strokes gained ball striking amongst this entire field over his last 50 rounds of golf on the PGA Tour, 37th at DK scoring. But again, that's DFS. We're not going to be talking about that here. Lots of other great programs, both on the OddsShopper Golf Channel to talk about betting, and then at Stochastic to talk about everything PGA DFS. But KH Lee is a player that I'm just going to have exposure to in a lot of places. We saw him put up a 19th at the Valspar when he really caught my attention with 2.8 strokes gained with the approach. He goes to the Masters, puts up a 23rd there, 41st at the RBC Heritage, 8th at the Wells Fargo, losing strokes around the green. And this is where it gets very, very interesting to me. He lost seven strokes gained putting last week to finish 50th at the AT&T Byron Nelson. But that golf course, very easy. That golf course, if you're not making putts, you're getting lapped by people. And he gained 7.4 with the approach, 2.8 with the off the tee game, and 8.6 strokes gained tee to green. That's absurd stuff. Even losing 1.6 around the green in that equation and 7 around the greens. 8.6 strokes gained you lost around the green or on the green. That is absurdly bad. But the week before at the Wells Fargo, he gained 6.6 with the putter on surfaces that will be fast and firm, like what you're going to be facing at this PGA Championship. Now, different style of grass, but the point remains. You're going to be getting bent grass, firm, fast greens. And I think that bodes well for a guy who, coming into that event, had gained 3 straight with the putter. So I'm writing off the AT&T Byron Nelson. Also, when you were sitting at 8 under there, you were getting lapped by everybody, just kind of coasting on in, getting ready for his major championship weekend here. So top 5 number, currently plus 4,000 over at DraftKings. Yes, 40-1 top 5 market. I think that's a nice nibble to have for a half unit here. I'm going to be putting it in play. You should be putting it in play. That is as good as hitting an outright in a lot of ways. I've known outright that's going to be shorter than 22-1, and that would be a better play than that here at top 5 for KH. Oh, by the way, he bombs it too, so that's good stuff too on this golf course. 4 plays in the outright market, starting with hole number 6. He's a staple of this program. It should come as no surprise that I'm going to lead the way with my dude, Sam Burns, as I type in his name on my spreadsheet. Yes, Sam Burns has been hot, cold. Yes, no, in, out, up, down. Katy Perry would love it. But he is somebody who had a broken driver at the beginning of the season. Actually, it was just an ineligible driver. He was called non-conforming by the USGA. He got it tested by the PGA Tour before he teed off at Riv. It screwed up his season. It was a huge wrench in the middle of his season, but started to figure it out after that happened because, well, going into that event, the Genesis where he ended up missing the cut, he had an 11th at the American Express and a 6th at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, which is a little bit more akin to what you're looking at here, a golf course where you got to play the par 4 as well. There's more par 5s to take advantage of at the Waste Management for sure. But the point remains that firm, fast greens, it's more of a championship style Bermuda that's more similar to a bent grass style that you'd be looking at for this type of an event. And then we just saw him gain a ton tee to green there. Well, the Valspar, a golf course he's dominated in the past, is a very difficult track down there in Florida. 5.6 strokes gained tee to green, 1.5 at RBC Heritage. Wells Fargo gained 1.6 despite losing just a little bit with the putter. And there's really no issue shooting 71-71 and missing a cut there. I'd kind of completely write it off. But the thing is, his win equity is always through the roof is what I'm trying to say. He won the match play this season down in Austin, Texas last year. That'll be in Austin, Texas rip. Won the Charles Schwab last season. Won the Valspar last season. Won the Sanderson Farms in 2021. Won the Valspar in 2021. We're talking a lot of wins on his resume for somebody who's getting 55-1. 55-1 over at DraftKings Sportsbook right now. I love it. I don't see any reason that I wouldn't continue to ride this gravy train, and that is what Sam Burns has been. You get any of these numbers, you put $100 on him every single week, you are up money for the last 2.5 years by a landslide. I know this because I've won $50 usually, but either way, that's my standard unit that I'm looking at for this guy, Sam Burns. Probably going to be maybe even a little bit extra that I fire on Sam Burns if that number moves up a little bit further. But 55-1 is a slam dunk, as is. Love it. My favorite outright play for this week, Mr. Burns. We're going to talk a little bit of Siwoo Kim coming up here next. Yes, Siwoo, kind of a staple of my betting card of late in a weird way when it comes to some of these majors. Mainly because he never gets the respect for being one of the better golfers on the PGA Tour that he probably deserves. And you just saw it last week. The AT&T Byron Nelson gained 9.1 tee to green, 44.9 strokes gained tee to green the week before at the Wells Fargo. The only difference is that the putter woke up last week in a prominent way, gaining 3.5 in that department. lost 3.4 the week before. Now, he won at the Sony Open at the beginning of the season. 11.7 strokes gained tee to green. That's the kind of upside you're presented with Siwoo Kim from time to time. And that's the kind of stuff you want to be targeting when you get it north of 100 to 1. Yes, 120 to 1 on FanDuel right now. There is no way that I was not going to be betting this number. Yes, is this field insanely good? Yes, it is. Yes, do you want to show some kind of apprehension because Jon Rahm, Scotty Scheffler are seemingly inside of 10 to 1 every single week and more than deservedly so? Yes. But when you hit this 1 out of 100 times, it pays for itself over a long period of time. This is expected ROI, and that is the name of the game when it comes to your betting cards on a week in, week out basis. If I played this golf tournament out 100 times, I think Siwoo Kim gets it done once. And that is good enough for me at 125 to 1. Yes, Siwoo Kim plus 12,000. Wild to think that that's the kind of number that I'm looking at next on my betting card. I got one more 100 to 1 number here for you before we jump ourselves on over to my favorite to win the golf tournament. Again, Sam Bird's my favorite outright play at the number, but I've got a favorite for this golf tournament, no doubt about it. But I want to invest in Mr. Keegan Bradley. Now, it has not been the best of years for our guy Keegs. He's been going full Keegan, as Pat Mayo would like to say, another fantastic golf commentator for sure. But Keegan Bradley has started to show signs of life in the tee to green department, which is really all you're relying on with him. 35th at the Wells Fargo, 23rd at the Masters, 48th at the RBC Heritage, even at 10th at the Arnold Palmer the week before he missed the cut at the Players. Now, the putter has been much, much better across the board over his last 10 tournaments, just being positive, like just having a green number in front of it. But over his last 20, he's actually gained a stroke amongst this field in the putting department. So that's kind of a really positive thing to be looking at. He had a second at the Farmers, which is probably one of the more difficult golf courses, Torrey Pines, another golf course where you got to play those long par fours very, very well. And people talk about course comps all the time on what you're looking at here. I want to jump to compare this Oak Hill to some US Opens that we've had of the past, including last year in Boston. We saw him compete, go toe-to-toe with Matt Fitzpatrick. Ended up fading away towards the end there for sure. It ended up being Will Zalatoris and Matt Fitzpatrick coming down the stretch, but it was still a really nice showing. 7th for him, faded on Sunday. Would have been nice to see him get in the mix. Kind of fell apart until he won at the Zozo in the fall. That's the thing for me as well. Another player that can spike these massive weeks with the putter. That's second that he had the Farmers. He gained 7 with that long putter of his, the arm lock method that he goes about his life with. And the waste management, 20th there as well. Had some decent results, even though it's been a lackluster season compared to, well, he just had phenomenal form come this time last season with an 8th at the Valero, 2nd at the Wells Fargo, leading into a 48th at the PGA Championship in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But my friends, Keegan Bradley at 100 to 1 on a ball striker golf course on something that you need to 7,400 yards with only 2 par 5s, both being over 600 yards. I think this is a great add to your betting card as well. So Keegan Bradley, I think he could have upset some people here. Thought about sprinkling some each ways, getting to maybe a top 10 number on him, plus 850 best available number at Tipico, even though I don't have access to that book. Something that you should be taking a look at if you're in one of those states, Tipico. Really good book that seems like it has a lot of really good numbers in the golf department as well. But hole number 8, before we get to the entree, the main course, I guess. Well, I guess it'd be dessert, because whatever. Keegan Bradley, 100 to 1. Add him to your betting card, hole number 8. And my pick to win this golf tournament, yes, Jon Rahm, yes, Scotty Scheffler. They're popular. They should be. Would it surprise me if they won? Absolutely not. But I am going to be going to, drum roll, please, Tony Finau. Tony Finau sitting at 22 to 1 here. He already has shown some fantastic form. He is one of the all-stars of this video program because of his performance at the Mexico Open that basically helped us sweep the board when we took him head-to-head, 2 to 1, going up against Jon Rahm. That was a fantastic bet. I feel like I know stuff sometimes. Goes out and wins that golf tournament. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, I wish I had put more money on that. But you know what? We have a process. We've been sticking to the process, unlike Doc Rivers. Rip. Goodbye to him. So Tony Finau wins the Mexico Open, puts up a 23rd at the Wells Fargo. But God, is this iron play just been insane? And he lost 2.2 strokes game with the putter. In fact, the weeks where he hasn't gained with the putter, he's still putting up amazing results. 31st at the RBC Heritage, an elevated event. The Arnold Palmer lost 1.3 with the putter, still put up a 24th. We had the Genesis where he gained, so that doesn't count, finished 20th there, 2.7 with the putter. Lost 1.9 at the Waste Management with a 14th, and lost 0.5 with the putter at the Farmers, finished top 10. Finished 9th. Unbelievable stuff from Tony Finau this entire season. We're talking 6.1, 6.6, 4.3, 5.5 strokes gained approach. Those are insane numbers. We know his pedigree, driving it long and far. We know he is a dude who loves having his family on the road with him, so I'm sure they're just enjoying the sights in Rochester, New York. I don't know. I know Mormonism started there, but that's a conversation for a different day. Tony Finau, my friends, 22-1, my shortest number that I will be betting this week. Yeah, there are some cases to be made for going to some of the shorter numbers. I get it. Not going to be on my card. Not today, Junior. Let's go Tony Finau, 22-1. Obviously, we would like the other outrights to hit. A lot more money at stake there, but Tony Finau, I think he's the favorite to win this one, in my humble opinion, according to the betting odds, of course. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite bets for the PGA Championship. Going to be an awesome week. Make sure you go to the Stokastic, check out everything that we have in programming for the PGA DFS First Look. That's myself. We've got the PGA DFS Live Before Lock. They'll be talking betting as well over there, over on the Stokastic YouTube channel. Ben Raza, also here on OddsShopper and OddsShopper Golf all the time. We got Eitan Shander doing content. They have all of their one and done stuff there too. Ben Raza covering that. Make sure you give all of those videos a like, subscribe, check out everything we have going week in, week out. Bet365, talked about them. You know what? I've talked about everything I can here. Hopefully you enjoy this weekend of golf. I know that I will. Well, as long as we win some money together. Until next week, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck at the PGA Championship this weekend.